And experiments have shown that even if you leave an answer on a question paper, students can still get it wrong, which is a very curious phenomenon. They do, yes, but why? Why would they think that? An exam is not about tricking you. Go in there and be confident. Right, let's have a quick look at depreciation. Depreciation, the profit and loss account and the balance sheet. Why? Because it goes into two areas. So, what is an overhead? We covered this last week. It depends on the actual business, how they're going to define it. But a working definition is that they're costs which allow trading to take place, but they're not necessarily directly related to trading. However, let me just add that there may well be circumstances in which they do relate to trading. And I'll give you an example. Supposing in order to make computers, yes, to make the motherboards, you have got to have very specialised lab environments. You've got to purchase that lab environment. But because of the wear and tear, that lab environment is going to have a very finite life. It might be 2 years, it might be 3, it might be just a little bit longer. In which case, what you want to do is you want to write off the cost because you know that you're incurring that amount of wear and tear for that particular accounting period. And at the same time, you also want to put that little bit aside so that you can replace it. And in that case, it would actually go under direct overheads. Depreciation of a computer lab to make motherboards would go up top. It allows trading. It is directly related. Can you see that? It is directly related to allowing trading. Depreciation is the measure of wearing out through usage of a non-current asset. What do I mean by non-current? It's just a fixed asset. It's a notional amount. It's a notional charge, a hypothetical charge in the profit and loss account income statement. We write off a little bit each year. We reduce the profit because that's what we've actually incurred in that particular time. And it's then shown in the balance sheet as cost less accumulated depreciation. We'll have a look at that. Depreciation is also used when a fixed asset becomes obsolete. For example, a computer. Gentleman there had a question. Did you have a question? Oh, sorry. So, simple example. We bought office equipment for 2,000. It might only be worth, say, 1,500. The loss is called depreciation, and that is indirect overheads. Can you see that? If you're in the business of making computers or computer software or web design, you're not in the business of buying and selling office furniture. So is it top, middle or bottom in the profit and loss? Everybody okay with that? It goes down the bottom. It is an indirect overhead. You're going to put it together with salaries, overhead costs, office equipment. So, we've got rent rates, salaries, and there goes the depreciation for office equipment. Let's do a simple example just to see how much you've taken in of what we've just been covering, okay, with that on the blackboard example. So you've got those figures. Again, that's another thing with some of you doing the question packs. Some of you are setting up and doing it on screen. Please do yourself a favour and write it out by hand, because again, when you do things by hand, For example, you might not line the figures up accurately. Therefore, you might misadd them up and get the wrong total. You need to practice doing it by hand, because that's what you're going to have to do in the examination. So write out cost of stock, cost of sales, and gross profit. I'm just going to quickly work it out as well. Should be writing it down. Okay, cost of stock. Who reckons we've got 16,000? I'm very good at setting distractors in the exam, so be very careful if you make a mistake, because I will have set it as a distractor if you add it instead of subtract it. Okay? $12,000? 10,000? Yes, 10,000. What about cost of sales? Is it 25,500?
Yes, for 22,500.
22,500.
Hands up, it says 22,500. Yes, yes it is. So, what's net profit? Listen to what I say, what's net profit?
We don't know.
What's net profit? Hands up who doesn't understand the question. Hands up who thinks I'm talking nonsense, please. Thank you. How can I have net profit? That's not the profit I'm looking for, it's gross profit. Again, don't make that mistake in the exam. If you ask for gross profit or net profit, make sure you know which is which. Okay, because you know it's multiple choice. And as I say, I'm very good at setting distractors. So, gross profit is what? Who agrees with the gentleman at the front? 7,500. Yes. And you're all okay with getting the gross profit? You understand how you get it? You're not come and see me afterwards.
Janet,
Yeah.
do we have to write it all out in that format?
Yes, you do. You're given the template. Good
Right.
question.
Okay.
You're given the template, but you've got to put the figures in.
Right.
And the one thing you haven't necessarily got on the template is direct and indirect. I've left it all blank so that if I put warehouse wages, then you put in warehouse wages, you just write that in. But I've got direct and indirect on there. Guys, it's the template that I've given you in the question pack. It's not designed to trick you.
So basically the template is basically similar to...
It's exactly the same.
Yeah, okay.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yes.
The same.
It is the same. But again, I really must do a research paper on it because I've been collecting first year exam papers for about 4 years now. And the way you actually use, it's called distributed cognition as well, how you actually use the exam paper, make it work for you. When you're in the exam, and I've left specific instructions with the invigilators, you are allowed to take it apart. So the templates, take the templates out and scribble all over them. Make it work for you. Write on the exam paper anything that helps you. Don't feel that you have to sit there and just, you're the ones taking the exam. Obviously, don't sit and chat or try and look at other people's paper, But yes, you've also got a blank sheet for rough working. All of that's got to be handed in at the end, okay? And that is something that I have been looking at. So, okay, well done. Gross profit. If gross profit is 7.5, office salaries are those, overheads, etc. Please now calculate the net profit. Go. You guys keep stumm. I want you guys to rock. What is the net profit figure? Shout it out. Is it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I put down 1.5. Carry the 500. I can make daft mistakes like that. Somebody transmitting in here. Somebody else transmitting. Like a phone or something. Okay. Sorry, it's not I'm asking you not to, it's just... Okay, well done. That's not me making that noise. 1,000. I hang my head in shame. Okay? But again, you've got the gross profit in the upper part of the P&L on the left-hand side, and you bring that down to the right-hand side. And if it's up the top there, you drop the figure straight down to here. 7.5. If it's 7.5 that side, it's got to be exactly the same this side. Maybe it's somebody's way of saying, please shut up. So, okay. Straight line depreciation method. The depreciation is equal to the cost less the residual value. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to shout. Cost minus any residual value divided by the useful life. Very straightforward. So if we've got office equipment purchased on the 1st of January, £5,000. 5-year life, residual value 0. Calculate the annual depreciation charge, should be charged, sorry, not charges, to profit and loss account. What would be the annual straight line method? It's going to be written off equally over the life of the asset, equally. Each year it's going to be the same charge, straight line depreciation. Cost less residual value, in this case is 0, divided by the useful life. So if you've got 5,000 divided by 5 years. There's another type of depreciation, reducing balance. What is it? 1,000. Okay, it's just 1,000. Because it's the cost of 5,000 minus 0 divided by 5 years. 1,000 per annum. And the way it will be be shown in the balance sheet would be the cost is 5,000 minus depreciation of 1,000 gives you a net book value of 4,000 at the end of 2010. That's the net book value at the end of 2010. What would be the net book value at the end of 2011? Calculate that. You've got an asset in 2010, January 2010, worth £5,000. It loses 1,000 every year. So at the end of 2010, it's worth £4,000. It's straight line depreciation. You're writing off the same amount each year. So at the end of 2011, what's the net book value in the balance sheet?
3.
How many of you think this gentleman's correct when he says 3,000?
2.
Yes, it is 3,000. And then in 2012, it will be 2,000 because you just write off another 1,000. So can you see what's happening? The asset value in the balance sheet is going down, but hang on, it actually balances because you're reducing the profit, the amount that you're giving to shareholders by depreciation by 1,000 every year. So instead of shareholders getting, say, £10,000 profit, it's going to be £9,000 profit. That £1,000, in effect, is saved to replace depreciation. Reducing balance method is the depreciation rate X% multiplied by the net book value. What's the net book value? It's cost minus accumulated depreciation. It reduces year after year after year. Guy, please don't eat in front of me. You've got a very hungry lecturer at the front.
John, is this company isn't floating, is it?
No,
No.
no, no.
So then it'd
It's,
be sort of then it'd be payment of dividends.
it would reduce. Well, no, not necessarily. It depends how much the directors declare as dividend. Yeah. So you've got net book value minus cost. Hang on, net book value equals cost minus accumulated depreciation. Let's have a look at an example. Office equipment purchased on the 1st of January 2010, 40,000. Reducing balance, 40% over 3 years. I'm sorry about the microphone. So 1st of January's cost is 40. I think this is heading. You take £40,000 and multiply by 40%. 4 fours are 16. 16,000 is deducted from 40,000, giving you 32. Giving you 24, sorry. I'll get there. 24. In the next year, you take the 24,000 and you multiply that by 40%. 4 fours are 16, carry 1. 4 twos are 8, add the 1, 9,600. 24,000 less 9,600 gives you 1,000, gives you £14,400 net book value, and so on and so forth. Can you see how it goes? Yeah.
Where does the 40% come from?
That's just the arbitrary rate that they calculate. So, for example, they're trying to get as near as possible to writing the whole thing off over that many years. Which is this straight line? Yeah. Guys, this is out of the notes that I'm giving you as well, okay? But a straight line method is very simply the cost minus residual residual value divided by useful life. So we've got a cost of 5,000, residual value of 0, the life is 5 years, so it's £5,000 divided by 5 equals £1,000. Straight line, straight. Every year, £1,000. 2010, 2011, 2012, so on and so forth. Reducing balance is different. Reducing balance is different.
Janet?
Yeah.
Was that with the 40%? Sorry, that's what depreciation performance.
That's the depreciation for 40%, yes. That was just an arbitrary figure.
Right,
It
that's
could be
not
30% or
yeah.
anything.
All right, okay. Usually got taxes and
Was that the sound of the microphone just? Right, something else. Right, let's have a quick look. These questions are in the exam, so you do need to understand this. And again, this is more about mathematical ability. So at the end of 3 years with reducing balance, we managed to accumulate 31,360. In other words, it's the 24 plus the 96 plus the 5,760, or 8,640 and 40,000. On a brighter note, don't forget about the BCS, the ACM and the CUGs. I think I will make these slides available. Do think about joining, because you really have got to, you guys get additional student benefits that ordinary members like me won't get. We haven't got access to them. Now, any questions on what we've covered? I know it's a bit of a shell shock. Any questions? Yes.
With the depreciation.